Hi friends, Steve Vilger coming at you semi-live for a Friday morning devotional. This morning we're going to be taking a look at John chapter 15 verses 1 through 5. This is a passage that all of chapter 15 is a passage that I find incredibly practical and inspiring and enriching as Jesus kind of gives us a picture of what it means to have intimate relationship with himself and what that relationship produces in our lives. So look with me at John 15 verses 1 through 5. Jesus says, I am the true vine, and my Father is the gardener. He cuts off every branch in me that bears no fruit, while every branch that does bear fruit he prunes, so that it will bear even more fruit. You are already clean because of the word I have spoken to you. Remain in me, and I will also remain in you. No branch can bear fruit by itself. It must remain in the vine. Neither can you bear fruit unless you remain in me. I am the vine, he says again, and you are the branches. If you remain in me and I in you, you will bear fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing. There are any number of things that you can spend a lifetime unpacking and applying what Jesus is revealing about himself and about us and our relationship. But there's a few things that I want to just pull out and focus on. First of all, he gives us this great picture of that we can relate to, that we can see. Now, I don't have a vine, I don't have a vineyard, but I do have an apple tree behind me. And this apple tree, I feel like can be a really good picture, substitute picture of the vine and the branches, because Jesus is basically saying, I'm the trunk of the tree. I'm the vine, right? And out of you, out of my relationship with you, you are the branches. You have been both grafted in and grow out of me in our relationship. And my Father is the gardener, and he'll come along and he'll cut off branches that don't bear fruit, but those that do, he will prune so that they will grow even more fruit. And there's just so much here. As you can see behind me, there's the trunk of the tree, right? And if you listen closely, what you don't hear is the vine and the branches straining to work hard to produce fruit. The fact is, all they do is remain. All they do is remain connected to the vine. The branches just remain connected and soak up and absorb all the goodness of new life and transformation and the Holy Spirit that produces fruitfulness in our lives. And that fruit pushes its way out from Jesus into our hearts and out of our lives, and it begins to blossom. And eventually it produces full-grown and ripe fruit. Now, apart from the vine, apart from the vine, the branches cannot produce a thing. There's no fruit. And so, were I to cut this branch off now, it appears alive, and it appears that it's on its way to producing fruit, but the fact is, it's now dead. It appears to be alive, but it's now dead. And it has nowhere to go but decline, because it has not remained in the vine. But those that do will soak up and absorb the goodness of the life of Christ in a transforming and powerful way and produce real fruit. What is this fruit? Galatians 5 gives us a good picture of what this fruit is. Galatians 5:22 says the fruit of the Spirit is love and joy and peace and patience and kindness and goodness and gentleness and self-control. This is what works its way out of our hearts and out of our lives as Jesus works his way into our hearts and into our lives. And isn't it amazing that this fruit that God prepares is the hungry world is starving for? Starving for love, joy and peace and patience and kindness and goodness. These are the things that more and more characteristic of our lives produce. that we can share. And the fact is that there's two options. Once this fruit is born, is we can share it, we can harvest it, we can share it, we can enjoy it, or we can let it drop to the ground and rot. So there's a whole other lesson to be had there. But the fact is, apart from Christ, we cannot do a thing. And so he says, remain in me. Just abide. Make your home in me. Remain in me, and I will remain in you, and you will bear much fruit. And yeah, my Father's going to come along, and he's going to prune some things. To make this even more fruitful, I need to cut away some things to create room for more growth. And some of those things are not fruitful branches, and some of those things are like the one I just trimmed off. It looked fine. But only the gardener knows. Only the vine dresser knows. Ultimately, can step back and look and see the whole picture and say, that is not ultimately going to give you life. That is ultimately not going to produce fruit. In fact, it's going to prohibit fruit from being born in your life. Jesus says, I am the vine and you are the branches. Remain in me and I will remain in you, and you will bear much fruit. And this is to my Father's glory. So, going into the weekend and finishing up the week, I just want to encourage you to reflect on, what does it look like? How do you actively abide in Jesus? How do you get with him and allow the connection of your heart to him be nourished and nurtured and grown and enlivened? And are you willing, and have you been willing to allow God to take the pruning shears to parts of your life that just need to go, so that more room will be made for the amazing fruit that gives you life and gives you life abundant, gives you rich relationship with himself, with yourself, and with those around you. So enjoy the day, enjoy the weekend, enjoy Jesus and your connection to him. God bless.